668 days ago, we stuck onto the paddock of the Daytona 200. Arguably one of the most prestigious motorcycle racing events in the US.
All right, here we go.
Josh Herrin secured the win for Ducati. What started as a day at the Speedway has now turned into a historical account of the race. A glimpse of American history, speed, and a bit of controversy. It's the oldest AMA-sanctioned road racing event in the United States.
The 200-mile AMA National Championships.
This 200-mile beach-to-road course was known by many locals at the time as the Handlebar Derby. I found connections to the past, acquired historical footage, and even interviewed the president and VP from one of the oldest AMA-sanctioned motorcycle clubs in Florida. Originally held on the hard-packed sands of Daytona Beach and linked by a long stretch of paved road, this 3.2-mile track, split by two 1.5-mile straights, required racers to complete 62 laps in order to finish the 200-mile-long circuit. I thought, what a better way to pay tribute to the race than with a camera built from the past, something from the 60s. So I reached out to a fellow filmmaker and talented musician to help capture footage.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
To pay homage to the rich history of the race, we used his Bolex, a fully mechanical 16mm silent film camera, a relic of pure analog filmmaking, powered not by batteries, but by hand-wound spring motor, no digital sensors, just celluloid film, and the rhythmic hum of gears in motion. Later I'd record audio, layering sound in post, bringing light and motion to life. The following is shot on Kodak film. The Daytona 200's inaugural debut was in 1937. With tight, fast turns transitioning from sand to road, this was a true test of endurance, reliability, and grit for both man and machine.
The next handlebar jockeys aren't so lucky. There he goes, but it's only a spill.
A bit of danger along with unpredictability was inevitable. Notably, the timing of the race often had to account for the rising of the tides. We're talking ocean. High tide would reduce the width of usable beach, creating less room for riders to maneuver and frequently leaving the track wet and unstable. Now, competitors weren't just up against one another. They were out there contending with soft sand, ever-changing traction, and even standing water in some areas. Considerable commitment was required to win this derby. Looking back, thanks is in order to those pioneering men who raced against the tide in 1937. They played a significant role in creating what is now known as Daytona Bike Week.
Some going, champ.
During the years 1942 to 1946, the Daytona 200 was paused due to World War II.
Training motorcycle dispatch riders for the U.S. Army. One of the toughest, most grueling courses in the service. A terrific test for men and machines. They take the bumps in high gear. Now they're real veterans of the saddle.
But made a triumphant return in 1947, quickly regaining its popularity and solidifying its place as one of the cornerstones of American motorcycle racing. The Daytona 200 quickly became a major contest, attracting motorcycle enthusiasts, racers, and fans from across the country. Over time, the influx of motorcyclists seeking attendance to the race spurred a broader celebration of motorcycle culture. We're talking Daytona Bike Week, which now spans 10 days and includes multiple races, concerts, and even debauchery for some enthusiasts. Fast forward. In 2022, the Daytona Regional Chamber of Commerce anticipated Bike Week would bring in more than $75 million in economic benefits. Daytona 200 became a magnet for international racers and fans over the years. Initially, this race held on the hard-packed sands of Daytona Beach eventually gained prestige as it transitioned to the Daytona International Speedway in 1961.
Daredevil bike riders are off to a fast start in the Daytona 200 for the American Motorcycle Association's national title. It's the country's richest, longest, fastest cycle race.
Some would say a turning point for its reputation as one of the most premier motorcycle races in the world. We're about to change the pacing of the film, but stick around through the credits. I think you're going to appreciate what you see. We're here with the president and the vice president of the Daytona 200 Motorcycle Club. The Daytona 200 MC is believed to be one of the oldest established clubs in Florida, laying their foundation in 1940s for camaraderie, community, and what has now become an extended family for motorcyclists across the globe. I'd like to introduce Fred Martz, the president of the Daytona 200, and Tommy Clausen, the vice president of the Daytona 200. Fred, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I was introduced into the club by my father-in-law in 2003.
That's the guy that got me involved in the club. A man named Papa Joe, who's actually on that board over there. I'll pull this back so you can see a little bit better. It's Riding Heaven's Highway. It's in memory of our past members. He lived right across the road from Dad, and Dad had a full-dress Harley. And he saw Dad, and he's like, you ride? Dad was like, yeah. And they started riding together, and he started, you got to come over and join the club. When I moved here in 2000, and then I bought my bike, and Dad's like, you got to join the club. I'm like, well, I don't know. Well, here I am.
Well,
here I am,
president
20
now.
years later. 20 years later.
Last year, I passed my 20-year as a continuous member. Then I've been vice president. I've been president for two-year spans, at least twice, treasurer, and I'm currently back in the role of president again right now.
And how about you, Tommy?
My wife and I got into the club. We came to a toy run they had one year. We came to the next meeting and joined at that time, and that was in 2003. So I'm well over 22 years in the club.
22 this year, yeah.
I've been president, vice president. I've been sergeant at arms, been trustee, just about most every position on the club.
The documentary we're doing is about the Daytona 200. Does your club have any connection with the original races in the 40s?
Yes, it did. Back in 1937, when the AMA first decided to start doing the race down here, which was a beach and road race, they asked for local volunteers from the area to be the flagmen, to tell the racers where to turn. So from 37 through 41, they were the flagmen for the AMA races.
From what I understand, the race was paused during World War II. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, well, Pearl Harbor happened in December of 41. Again, the AMA chose not to continue the race, so for 47, there was no Daytona 200 race. It looks like in 38 the term Bike Week became coined, and like I said, in 42, when they didn't have any race, the bikers came anyhow, and it became an annual event, and that event still runs to today. Then it was about 1943, a couple years later, that those guys decided that they needed to form a club. And there was an old listing in an AMA magazine that showed that in 1947, they chartered with the AMA that year. Now, can't prove that, because in 1960, all the records that the AMA had from 60 all the way back to their beginning, that building burnt to the ground, so everything was lost. So they rechartered us in 60 or 61, what's their number, Tom?
451, I think it is.
We were less than 500 clubs that got rechartered back into the AMA. And then in 1947, Bill France of NASCAR fame had petitioned the AMA to bring the race back. They had to move it further south, closer to the inlet at Ponce Inlet. And in 1960, Bill France had built the Speedway where they'd hold the Daytona 500 and other races. And within it, he built a road course.
A speedy pace on a tricky course unseats even the best. St. Hart never won this event. Spill after spill narrows the field, which has to navigate an asphalt oval as well as a winding, flat infield track.
The AMA agreed to leave the beach and take the race to the road course in there. And if you actually look at our logos over here, you'll see that in the tri-oval, the road course is laid out in our club logo.
It's a rugged grind, punctuated with narrow escapes. Gary Nixon of Baltimore wins, setting a lap average record of over 98 miles an hour. The prize, $5,000.
At that time, the guys that were the Daytona Beach Motorcycle Club realized in a way they were kind of losing their tie to the race, so they renamed the club as the Daytona 200 Motorcycle Club.
There's our original flag up there, by the way.
Oh, this is the original, the maroon, the red.
Uh-huh. Yeah. This was their original, quote, patch logo at one point in time.
We talk about extended family for motorcyclists across the globe. What do you think it is about the Daytona 200 MC that creates a sense of family?
Well, it's brought us closer to the motorcycle community, and it turned into like becoming a family. Everybody got real close, and we got people that come here during bike week and look forward to seeing certain people every year and look for us. And if we're not here, they ask what happened to them, where are they at, why aren't they here? You know, all of our bikers that come in are concerned that something happened to them, you know, or they passed away or are sick or something.
So these are just a few. We literally have multiple albums of photos from years going way back. There was a man looking through the photo albums. We had them laid out on a cover we put over top of our pool table. And he's looking, he goes, "Oh my goodness, there's Jimmy!" And his wife was off to the side, and she goes, "What?" And he goes, "There's Jimmy." And here, he was a member of this club way back then. And she come over and she says, "Oh my God, look how little he was." And they turned a few more pages and there was all three of them. That's cool. Having a family there that was able to look back at something they didn't even know existed. Over the years, I've been involved in a bunch of different organizations, churches, sportsmen's club, volunteer firemen organizations, and the best ones always have a family core to them. It's the only way they last. If you don't have that family feeling, it's just people, and it just doesn't last. I might add something. The building that we're in right now, the plans were first drawn in 1982.
This is junk that was in this property when they bought it.
Yeah.
This looks to me like this is our main entrance over here, I do believe.
And we started offering camping for bikers from out of the area to come in here.
Your camping is motorcycle camping only.
Yes, motorcycle tent camping only. Yes, sir. It's become a camping family. Like, it's literally like a family reunion every year.
The reason that we feel that so many of these people come back year after year after year after year after year, they could go and stay anywhere. It's the personal touch that we give them. It makes all the difference.
I mean, we've got one guy from Sweden came for 19 straight years, but they've come from all over the world. I've met people from Italy, Spain, Germany. We have a large group that comes just about every year they live in the United States now, but they were from Brazil. We have another large group that started coming a year or so ago, and they're from North Carolina. It's literally not just the United States, it's people all over the world.
Do you have a sign on the outside of your clubhouse that says, "We don't care what you ride, we care that you ride, Daytona 200 MC"? Can you speak to that?
It's not important what kind of bike you're riding. It's more important that you're a rider. That's where that all comes down to. And everybody's welcome here, no matter what they ride.
You showed me yesterday as well, there's a lot of trophies in your clubhouse that we walked through, and you have the gold of old, I guess, I don't know if it's a trophy memorial wall or something.
Pretty much. When I first joined the club, there's a little bit of a ledge the whole way around. There was trophies lined the whole way around this. And it was from events that in the past that members as a club would go to and do a charity run or a poker run or whatever, and they would get a plaque or a trophy. So we kept the nicest ones that I showed you there yesterday. And then the gold of old is they took the little plaques that was off the front that said what it was and put those all in a memorial. And the nicer plaques we still have up on display on our back wall back there.
In your club, how far away, I mean, we know how close it is, but how far away is it to the speedway and all the shenanigans here?
You can literally be within 10 to 15, 20 minutes to Destination Daytona, Iron Horse, Main Street, Cabbage Patch, and literally on US 92, which is International Speedway Boulevard, goes right to the Speedway. We are about 10 miles, 15 miles, I think, from there. But yeah, we're really centrally located.
Yeah, and the land, the first weekend they have a bike rally go on there in the land. The first Saturday, I think.
First Saturday, yeah.
First Saturday of bike week.
That's
It's
pretty much
20
a straight
miles
shot
from
down.
here.
Yeah, a couple different charities. We had our Children's First, and we had another one, and the kids made these pictures up and gave them to us as a thank you. And this is like this. We went to a nursing home and took the kids around, rode the motorcycles around, revved them up, and they all cheered and hollered and whatever, to give them something to look forward to.
It seems like the clubs of now, or what's being introduced as the form of a club, is more of a pop-up. Large groups of people get together, but it doesn't seem like they have the connection and the lifelong relationships and feeling of family that you guys are able to build from a club. Can you speak to that? And are you concerned that clubs may be fading out?
Quite honestly, because we got so many people from all over the country, this is a topic that gets discussed every bike week and every Biketoberfest. But talking to other people from other clubs, it's a nationwide thing. Our club was 75 strong at one point, and it's down to about 42 right now. Right. And what everybody is saying is that, the middle age and the older ones that grew up around motorcycle clubs and they realize the commitment, the camaraderie, and all that goes into a club, the young people don't want nothing to do with it. So they'll start a Facebook group, and we're in Volusia County, so let's say Volusia County Riders, and Brevard County has Brevard County Riders. And they'll post, meet at XYZ gas station on this date, at such and such a time, we'll go for a ride. They don't have that connection to each other. They're not invested in each other's lives like we are. I mean, we celebrate everybody's birthdays, anniversaries, and stuff like that here every meeting. So that's something that's dying out. And is it a concern? Yeah. When you lose that desire to be in a club, to be a part of an organization, to stick with it for 20 years like Tommy and I have, those people, they ain't got that. It don't exist for them. And I don't know if when times get tough that they'll stick it out. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know. I don't see it.
Well, with the pop-up things, you don't have a commitment of officers and people running the club and the maintenance and the work that goes with it for permitting and stuff to put on these events. It's just not putting on. You have to go get health department permits, camping permits in the county, the fire department inspections. You have to meet a lot of standards in a clubhouse, in a club organization that goes into it that a lot of people don't see behind the scenes, what goes on to make Bike Week happen. There's several different organizations, and one year I had to go downtown to land at the thing and sit with these representatives. They said we're one of the best clubs they've ever dealt with. They never have any problems with us. The sheriff's department says you're one of the best clubs. We never have any complaints about your club or anything else.
Yesterday you mentioned that you guys have AMA sanctioned rides. Can you tell me about that and why people would seek out to be a part of an AMA sanctioned ride?
You apply for a sanction if you're going to do like a toy run for the riding event. If somebody gets hurt on the ride, the AMA will back you up with their insurance and attorneys and stuff like that in case something happens if a rider goes down.
This is maybe kind of a tough segue, but one of the things I admired from our conversation yesterday as well is you have a memorial board, and I know you've lost a few members over the years. Is that, I'm certain it's challenging, but how has that changed or maybe impacted the club?
Well, one member in particular really did a lot of improvements here on the inside. Like we remodeled our kitchen, and he remodeled the women's bathroom and stuff. Did an awesome job. He was involved in a lot, frankly, involved in a lot of stuff like that.
Yes, he was.
And we were hosting a club ride, and he had went up to this local gas station to get gas. And when he pulled out to go cut around to come back down, the car T-boned right into him. And he ended up needing a lot of blood. Several weeks he did pass away. Whenever a member passes here, as long as they're a member of the club yet, then we have that Ride in Heaven's Highway board over there, and we put their information on a plaque and we hang them up there, so they're still a member here, beyond life, I guess would be the best way to describe it. When you're involved in an organization that's been around as long as we have, since '43, in 2023 we had our 80th anniversary celebration. We have a letter up here that was from the mayor of Daytona congratulating us on that achievement. There was the Daytona News Journal wrote a front page article on us and come out and talk to us and interviewed us about it. And that's stuff you don't get in a pop-up club. I mean, it just don't happen that way. If there was one other point I'd like to make, and you had mentioned community, and that's something that we've been involved in the community for quite some time. We've had over, I think it was 43 or 44 years continuous of toy run events where we donated 100% of the money that we made to different children's organizations and charities. Last year, after our 80th anniversary, we decided to do an auction of sorts. And the money that we raised, we gave to an organization called Canines for Warriors, which train dogs to be with veterans that have specific needs. Maybe someone's an amputee or they can't move really good and they need a dog trained to go get this or go
Oh,
get
even
that.
service animals from, okay.
Yeah, it's a full, from what I understand, it's a full service.
Yeah.
People and that stay there with the dogs for the whole training. They train the dog and the people together.
They want to ensure that it's a good match.
They're building a bond at that point.
Right.
Some organizations, they'll keep 10, 20% for their share. We don't do that. We give 100% of the profits away, and we were able to take all that money and give it to those deserving warriors. We like the response we got for the Canine for Warriors. So last year we did this one over here, Pause for Patriots poker run, and all the money we raised at that event, but every bit of profit that we made, we donated right to the Canines for Warriors.
Oh, how cool is that?
We're proud of America. We have our American flag. We say the Pledge of Allegiance to start every meeting, and we have a huge flag outside hanging, and it's part of who we are.
Speaking of proud of America, but when I started researching the Daytona 200, and I'm obviously not an authority on it, but I was interested in it, and the more I started looking at it, it's really a heritage piece for American history. And I know the Daytona 200 wasn't the only race then, but it was a part of what started Bike Week. It's a part of what that large speedway is and the economy down here. And I mean, it's
spread. It's bigger than Daytona Beach itself now, because you got Main Street, which everybody wants to go on Main Street. That's where it all started. But Rossmeyer, that owned the Harley Davidson dealership in here, Bruce Rossmeyer, he went up to Ormond and bought 75 or 150 acres, and he built Destination Daytona up there. They've got hotels up there, they've got restaurants, gas stations. It's got to be huge. Daytona, South Daytona's got stuff going on. DeLand's got stuff going on. So it's more than just
spread.
It's more than just Daytona proper. It's benefiting the whole county. Really, it does.
Well, I want to thank both of you guys for inviting me out here, inviting us out here.
Thanks for coming.
It's fascinating, and the more I do this, I keep telling myself I'm going to keep meeting really interesting people, and you guys are impacting my life. Hopefully, this together may impact what you guys have going on, and I really appreciate it.
Well,
from my heart, I'm not saying something to be. I really mean it.
And we thank you so much for doing this.
We appreciate it. We do, and hopefully we didn't bore y'all.
If we did, they can leave, but there's going to be a lot of people that want to hear all of this. So.
I didn't realize, how many people I've impacted over 80 years, how many friends that I really had.
And that's why I was saying yesterday, you're rich. To have people like that in your life, it's
worth more than money.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, we get taught politically or financially that certain things need to happen, but really, if you don't have that support around you, none of that matters anyway.
Well,
you can be the richest financial man in the world, but if you have no one to share it with, or in your case, people were supporting you for something that you've been
Right,
trying to do for a while.
and
Doesn't mean anything.
and I've seen a lot of changes and things in the world in 80 years. A lot of it not good, a lot of it is good.
Yep.
And there's more good coming than there is bad.
I like to hear that. Yeah, because you often have people, they get caught up in so much negativity that we're taught in the news and the media, but for you to say that there's a lot more good coming than bad, I believe so too. Yeah, for sure.
There is. You got to think that way, or else you might as well just give up.
Yeah, yeah, that's true, right?
Daytona200mc.com is our website, and if you'd like to come down here and camp with us for Bike Week or Biketoberfest, you book it right there on that website. So hopefully we'll see some of you.
Check us out.
Yep, check us out. See ya.
Cut.
Cut!
That was fun.
I had to cut. I got to go use the restroom. I drank 2 bottles of soda.
When I see your eyes, then I'll know I'm home. And when I see you smile, I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna leave my wayward roam, gonna leave it alone. Come on, I'll tell you of what I had and was. Bring some Mormon tea and the makings rolled. But before my story's told, let's ride out to Everett Cove and watch the mariners roll. They're returning from wayward days. But won't you tell us where you've been, and tell us when you'll be running off again. Born and raised in the Holy Ghost, and you never strayed, you never let your hair fall low. You taught me how to hold and keep the saddle thrown. Now I hear my Father's call as he welcomes me with the finest of them all. He said, you earned this one, let's watch the Mavericks roll. They're returning from wayward days. Oh, won't you tell us where you've been, and tell us when you'll be running off again. God bless the wayward son, gotta let him run. They're returning from wayward days, so let's put our ears to the ground. Can you hear that sound? I can hear them thundering down like the mighty falls.
Here we go. We're rolling. We all have to start somewhere. Metaphorically, as we wait for this bridge to go down. Hopefully you enjoyed what we put together, because we're going to definitely continue on our journey.